One second. Yeah,
Welcome,
it's live.
welcome everybody. My name is Mohammed Shanwaz, senior editor of footballpakistan.com. I'm with Shahrukh Suhail, editor of footballpakistan.com, Rahul Sengupta, uh, who's very well experienced in Indian football, having worked with Indian Football Federation and a number of other uh, organizations, keeping close tabs on Indian football, and Amoy Ghoshal, football correspondent and sports leader, who keeps very, very close tabs on the Indian national team and domestic football. Today we'll be discussing the upcoming friendly series between Pakistan under-23s and India under-23s to be played in Bangalore from 17th of August and 20th of August. So welcome to all, and
Thank you.
let's go to Amoy. Amoy, welcome. Rahul, welcome. Shahrukh, welcome. Tell us, what can we expect in this upcoming friendly series in terms of from the whole side?
Well, I think compared to other sports in the Asian Games, the football team has had quite a exposure, considering the fact that they're not really a medal prospect team. They have been to the Czech Republic, come back and play and then they will head off to China to play a couple of more games. So there's been a lot of preparation done for the national team. The AFF have gone out and done their best. But as you can see from the results which have reported, they played against the European sides and ended up losing two games and drawing one game, with significantly improving the only two goals. So basically, also shows that the international experience is lacking with the group of players that they are in the team. I mean,
I
I'm
think
sure that's the
we're
case.
slightly struggling to hear everything at the moment, but I think we'll come back to that. Rahul, did you catch everything what Amai said?
Yes, I
Or
mean,
not really?
yeah, I could gather what he was trying to say that
Hmm.
for India, football does not remain a medals prospect. So,
Hmm.
despite that, it's a very positive sign that the association has been doing pretty good job with regards to getting us a good exposure. We uh,
Hmm.
we toured the Czech Republic, did some decent sides, also put up some good performance. So we are also off to China next in a few days from now and play a couple of more friendlies against some Chinese Super League teams. So. Uh, with regards to exposure, I'm sure we have come a lot way because for an under 23 team, expecting uh, two foreign tours is something which was not, something which we would have accepted it very naturally a few years back. But things
Yeah.
are changing, and despite of the fact that we are not a medals prospect in football, so this just shows that there's certainly room for future.
So obviously the Pakistan games are part of the preparation for the Asian games. And how seriously are these two games against Pakistan? You think for the Indian under-23 team and overall as a football team?
I think Amai can take a better call because when it comes to the continental rivalry, we are always Pakistan playing Pakistan is beat any sports, cricket, hockey, football.
Yeah.
There's always a great deal of excitement, and the timing of the game is also very relevant because it's just after the Independence Day. So, uh, I mean, we are expecting good turnout in Bangalore because Bangalore has seen a good attendance when it comes to attending home matches for Bengaluru FC. And so, I'm hoping that the crowd will turn up. And sadly, there's no confirmed broadcasting yet. But hopefully, when it comes to excitement and euphoria about the game, obviously there will be a lot of media interest and also a lot of people all around the country, even in Pakistan. I hope they will be looking forward to it. But when it comes to football, I think Amai will have a better uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, let's go to Amoy and see how he looks forward to the two games
Yeah, I was
most of.
having an informal discussion with Shahrukh as well about it. I think both teams lack the international experience. If you're talking about the India
Mm.
team, there are three senior players. Sunil Chetri, Robin Singh, and Francis Fernandez. But beyond that, the rest of the squad lacks international experience, barring 3 or 4 players. So I think although the feeling in Pakistan and especially with you two notice that you are considering India as the favorites, but I expect two really tight games. Maybe the home advantage of India might be a factor, but other than the attack, the defense is inexperienced, the central midfield is inexperienced. There are not too many naturally wide players in the team. I expect
Mhm.
close games, and I know that it won't be right to make an opinion about Pakistan just yet because I don't think the Wim Governments and his staff have watched them play too much unless they've got the videos of the Indonesia game or the tournament in Palestine. But
Mhm.
I'm sure we saw in the SAF Championship also that it was a close fight between the senior national teams. And at under 23 level also, I expect close games. Unless the crowd gets to the Pakistan, the younger players, it won't adapt quickly to the situation and the condition. Unless that happens, technically, I don't think there will be too much difference between the two teams.
Okay. I mean, let's see what Shahrukh makes of it. Shahrukh, Amoy paints the picture which should excite you in terms of what Pakistan is up against.
Well, Amoy is right about the Indian team. It's young and inexperienced, but I can't say the same thing for Pakistan, unfortunately. You've got this Pakistan team that's been playing for the past 6, 7 months together. You played against Lebanon, then went to Palestine for that tournament, played against Indonesia as well, and those performances just really haven't, been enough for Pakistan. The coach Mohammad Al Shamlan has been playing the same players that, mostly played in the under 23 Asian Games in 2010. So all of these players are experienced. They've gained experience over the last 4 years. So you can't really say that Pakistan isn't experienced with this lineup.
I mean, what else do you think? I mean, away from on the pitch performance, what else is there? What's the build up around, and what else you think can happen? How should this be seen?
Well, Pakistan played Indonesia in June, and after that they took off a break during due to the Ramzan period, and they just started training for 4th of August. But the positive part for Pakistan is that Adil and Kaleem, who are Pakistan's foreign-based players at the moment, they've linked up with the camp and they are expected to take part in the friendlies. So that's going to be huge bonus for Pakistan. Pakistan struggled in the Al Akbar tournament against Indonesia. Up front you've got young lad Mansoor Khan, under 16 champion with Pakistan in 2011. He's definitely going to be playing with Kaleem up front, and he can learn from Kaleem as well. So that's a good sign for Pakistan. Adil returning to the wing will also be another positive. Another question that I raised earlier with you and Amoy was that Saddam Hussein, who got a red card against Indonesia, will he be playing against
Yeah.
India, or will he sit out the first match?
Mhm. I think the point I was kind of alluding to was how is this game seen, as in away from the on-pitch relevance of it. I mean, last time India toured Pakistan was 2005. The three games were jam-packed games in certain parts of Pakistan where even we don't go and play anymore. Quetta, Peshawar, and in Lahore, and for 9 years Pakistan have been trying to tour India, and obviously we had some failed attempts to play at a neutral venue in UK and so on. So how is it seen in Pakistan?
Most of Pakistanis won't be aware that Pakistan is playing India in the next couple of days. But for those that do know, it's definitely a very momentous occasion. Pakistan and India haven't really, played out a friendly series since 2005. A couple of attempts to play abroad didn't end so well. So definitely, the entire country is looking forward to this, and hopefully, India will have a good turnout, and maybe we can see these games live in Pakistan as well.
Yeah, I think coming back to Rahul and Moy as well, a bit of an unusual venue to to go and play Bangalore. Delhi, maybe perhaps Kolkata, Goa would have been perhaps more favored venues, you think,
Yeah,
and Bangalore going bit
I mean it's
untraditional.
a good start. It's a good start. Yeah, I mean
Mm.
it's a good start that we have finally started playing Pakistan after a long time because there's been a lot of the attempts as we have all discussed by now. But let's look at this game right now. This is not an official FIFA game.
Yeah,
Yet there has been a good attempt by the. It was initiated by Pakistan FA, if I'm not wrong, and they
yeah,
wanted to get this match as a part of the preparation, and India responded well. And as far as my knowledge is concerned, the Indian FA did try to commercialize this game. They were in talks of with a broadcaster, with a sponsor, ultimately the owners of Bengaluru FC, the JSW Steel Group, they have come in front and they have agreed to host the two matches. So they will be picking up maximum of the expenses because the IFF struggles to get a lot of sponsors for football. I mean, there were sponsors. But it's commercially they wanted to try out to sell this whole Indo Park series. Uh, it did find a kind of a sponsor, you could say. So I think this is a good start, and you're correct that maybe we could have tried off with Bengaluru, or we could have tried off with some other places. But I mean, not Bengaluru. I'm sorry. We would have tried with Delhi or Kolkata, but Bengaluru is also an upcoming football venue in India. Last year with the I League champion showing us the way. I think we gone are the days that we only concentrate on Delhi, Calcutta, and Goa. I mean, this is the venue. Even Pune has hosted some good international games in the past. So
Yeah.
I think this is just the beginning. I think in the next couple of years, with the proactiveness of our FA and the coaches and the national team department, maybe the senior team next, or maybe the women's team. You never know. I mean, I'm hopeful for it.
Yeah, I think obviously with with the women's SAF Cup scheduled later this year in Pakistan, and obviously the Indian women team, or arguably the strongest female team in the region, and I think that could then start a good interaction between back. What do you think are the strong points in this current India team? I mean, you alluded to the three senior players. I mean, what are some youngsters that we might not be aware of that you could perhaps highlight who we should look out for?
Yeah, I think defense for the Indian team is definitely in attack because the two strikers are also the two strikers of the national team, Sunil Chetri and Robin Singh. So that is definitely our strength. And we also have three players who can provide assists like Lal Indika Ralte, Alvin George, and other senior players, Francis Fernandez. So definitely the attack going forward, we look strong there. The weakness definitely in the wide areas in midfield because we don't have a naturally wide player besides Francis Fernandez. Lal
Mm.
Indika can play there, but he's more comfortable playing through the middle. And otherwise, there is little experience in the other departments like central midfield and central defense, and even the goalkeepers. They don't have much I League experience. So that is the key point here. I mean, that is the whole point of having these two games. To give the youngsters international exposure. That is why the squad is 25 instead of 20. There are two extra players in the midfield. So I think definitely the strength is in attack, but defensively I have my doubts about this team. We will concentrate against lower tier opposition in Europe, and I'm sure Pakistan will have a lot of pace going forward with Kalim there in the side. I have seen Kalim during the SAF championship. He looked quite sharp there. So sure, they will do a problem to our inexperienced backcourt, but at the same time, it's a chance for our youngsters to step up and show that they are ready for the international stage. Few of them will definitely play in the national team in the next year or so. So I'm sure this is a good chance for them to show that they are ready for the international stage.
Well, that sounds promising. So, Shahrukh, India's strong point, as we heard, was their attack with Sunil Chetri, no doubt, and with the others, and with Pakistan having conceded about 10 or 12 goals in the last 5 games. Discuss.
So, well, you just said it. Pakistan have been conceding goals front, right, center, everywhere, in the past few games. Indonesia thrashed us 4-0 with the defense looking extremely, extremely vulnerable. Got Esanol on the left, you got Ahmed, who's technically a midfielder playing at the center back, inexperienced Bilal alongside him, and then you got Faisal Iqbal, hugely experienced but not really a right back. So this defense is extremely fragile, and last year in the SAF Championship, Sunil Chetri was in excellent form in the second half, and he was denied by the defense and goalkeeper Yusuf Butt nearly 4 or 5 times. So if Sunil Chetri performs like this again, I'm sure he's going to get a lot of goals to his credit. Pakistan just can't handle players at the moment. Personally, I don't know what Coach Shamlan is doing because, as per our reports, this is the Pakistan senior team for all intents and purposes. So that's really strange. And another strange fact I'd like to mention here is that Pakistan have the option to take 3 overage players to the Asian Games. But I think we're going to be the only ones in the Asian Games that have 1 overage player.
But why is that, Shahrukh?
Well, really down to the coach. The coach says that he's going to give the under 22s experience and make them the senior team. I really haven't heard of that happening anywhere in world football, let alone in South Asian region. So it's a very, very interesting situation to see how Pakistan performs with their weakened defense. Their attack is decent, with Mansoor and Kaleem up front. But another pressing issue that Amoy and me discussed earlier was that foreign-based players. Pakistan has several of them that are under 23 and seniors as well that could have been used, but the coach says that they aren't good enough, and subsequently they weren't included.
Yeah, I think you touched on that point where Yusuf Butt was instrumental in that game, keeping it to 1-0. Even though Pakistan had a good 50-60 minute phase in that game where they should have taken advantage in that game against India, where I think currently there is a new goalkeeper Ehsan Khan who seems promising, but will does he have that game temperament? Has he played against India at that level before? Uh, crowd, like Amar said, Rahul said, crowd could be, an issue for some of the Pakistani players who've probably not faced that kind of crowd before. And, right coming after the Independence Day celebrations and all that. Um, coming back to the foreign players point, Amoy said, why is it that they're being ignored? And I think over the last few months we have seen some bizarre statements from some of the coaching staff. One saying, or some of them are not good enough. Others are saying, oh well, they're not coming for 2 or 3 week training camps when they haven't been formally invited with that type of deadline. And this morning we saw from the Pakistan Judo Federation that the guy who won the silver medal at the Commonwealth Games has not been sent to the upcoming World Championships in judo because the federation want to send some youngsters for exposure. Since when do you use World Championships as a form of exposure? So those are the sort of issues that we are having in Pakistan. This is the same situation that our hockey federation has gone over the last 2 decades, using senior events to give youth the exposure, and when the youth fail miserably, then you kind of go back to square one every 6 months, every year. And I think those are some serious pressing issues. But like Shahrukh said, for us, having Kaleem Mullah back is a real plus. Top scorer in the Kyrgyz league, one of the first Pakistani players to go out and test himself, and he's not let himself down in the Kyrgyz league. It's definitely a step up from the Pakistani league. It's not a huge step up in terms of it's not the top tier leagues in Asia, but the Kyrgyz league is improving. Adil's out there as well. But there's one thing that I have come across, and I've spoken to a lot of coaches in Pakistan, is that when it comes to Pakistan-India match, it doesn't matter what sport it is, the tactics go out of the window. As soon as you walk onto that pitch, skill, tactics, plans all go out of the window. And I think we saw that with the under-19 matches a couple of years ago in Iran, when India were quite favourite to go through that group. They had training camp in Dubai. They had played in the YFN Cup. They had started strongly, and then they got beat by Pakistan. I think it was 2-0 or 2-1, and that was Pakistan under 19's only win in the last 10 years. And they managed to beat India, who were coming back on a strong preparation, had really strong squad. So I think that point about tactics, when it comes to Pakistan Indian match, tactics go out the window. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, you're
Shahrukh, what would you say
absolutely
to that?
correct. Yeah, Shahrukh, go ahead. Yeah.
I think I'll have to agree with you on that to a certain extent. To the players I've talked to, the coaches I've spoken to, they echo the same question as well. Pakistan and India, it's a very tense game. The players are nervous, and crowd is always there. So definitely, you can change the course of a game. And if it's a physical game or it's a very high tempo game, then obviously skill, tactics that go out of the window. But nonetheless, this is a football match, despite the controversies or whatever surrounding it. So it's going to be a football match. Pakistan's tactics, India's tactics, everything is going to come into play. But yes, this is a very special football match, and the surroundings and the build-up does play a major role in it.
Just coming back to Amoy. Amoy, how does Wim Koverman set his teams up? Is it all out attack, I mean, I've seen him come under some sort of criticism over the long ball football, which everybody thought had gone away with Bob Houghton, but it was there. But how is he dealing with the younger team, with the underage team, and what are your expectations in terms of what sort of style is there? Obviously, India seems to develop this sort of Dutch influence, with the technical director and the coach, and are they, is that flavor coming through now?
I don't think so. I mean, even he has admitted that it won't be easy to just bring in a new style suddenly and expect the team to play more passes and stop playing the direct way which we used to run the ball for a long time. He has tried to make a few changes, but he hasn't had enough matches, to implement that change. Last year there were a lot of matches, and after that again there was a huge gap. This year we have just played one game for the under 23 team. And if you consider the under 23 team, most players haven't played with each other. You just can't bring a style, that easily to many players. But of course, the positive is that many coaches now in the I League, there are a lot of foreign coaches in the I League. Many coaches
Mm,
try to play that passing football, try to play with short passes rather than go long. So that I think it will be a mixture of the two. The direct style and the passing style that everyone likes. The direct style will be there purely because of the presence of Robin Singh. I'm sure India would try to use that tactic of using Robin Singh's physical presence and using the combination of Robin and Singh. So I think wherever they get an opportunity, they will be crosses from both flanks. We have two exciting, although we don't have wide midfielders, we do have two exciting wide fullbacks in Bhutan Kotal and Narayan Das. I'm sure
mm,
once they get an opportunity, they will try to play the ball into the middle, they will try to cross. But otherwise, I think it will be a mixture of the two, depending on the situation. And first 20 minutes, India will see how Pakistan play, and maybe then they will form a strategy like that. So I don't think there will be one particular way that the under 23 team will play because it's still a new team, players getting to
I
know
th
each other. If
mm,
you ask me whether
I
the
think
style come through or not, I would say no, it hasn't. But
mm,
honestly, he has made an attempt to bring in a new style of play. It's the players who haven't really been able to take it up.
mm. Let's see what Rahul has to say on, he's been following the
No, I mean,
teams from age group upwards for a long time and been involved in them, and how has that change of philosophy impacted Indian football?
there's been a lot of change in the philosophy, especially because after Wim Kovermans came in, what Amai rightly pointed out is he clearly said that we cannot adopt any style overnight. But there
Yeah.
has been a very serious attempt from the coaching staff, especially Wim and Rob Ban, who's our technical director, and he has organized a series of sessions with I League coaches where they wanted to list down what are the basic ideologies where they want the Indian team to to follow. So every I League coaches have been given a handout that try to implement these while you're training, and most of the top I League coaches have also recently took part in this AFC Pro license course where Wim Kovermans was their instructor. So lot of these I League coaches, especially Arthur Papas, we have Khalid Jamil and Karim Ben Sharifa. So these I League coaches, they have got a lot of instructions. I wouldn't say instructions, but a lot of knowledge process from Wim Kovermans, and I think all of them implemented back home in their I League club. So when we are looking at this team right now, when we have players like Narayan Das, Alvin George, even Sunil Chetri for that matter, they are already they already know what the coach would like them. I mean, what the coach expects from them. So I think there's been a very serious attempt, which was lacking in Indian football. So it is.
Mm,
I mean, the process of playing passing football and all these things is, centuries away. I mean, if I might sound very pessimist, but there has been a very serious attempt to at least get the fact clear that this is what is expected from each of the coaches, and people are abiding by it. And so it is not a very it will be very interesting to see how the young team performs in the upcoming Asian Games. But I think they will put up a good show, and it will not be a complete direct football. They will be
mm.
giving a good display, at least entertaining football.
I think Shahrukh, a few of the things the lads mentioned are under 20, under 19 league, the I League. They had the under 21 team playing in the I League. Director of football, developing a football philosophy. All those things that they seem alien to people in Pakistani football. There is no such thing. And how would you answer that? I mean, in terms of what development is happening over there, and how is that system in Pakistan in terms of the pathways for players, because those players are coming through, the coaches are keeping tabs on them. Here we have a coach who has gone with the team majority of under 19 players into his senior team. That very team didn't have a great deal of impact in the last under 19 qualifiers either.
So I'm going to answer this question in two segments. Firstly, I'd like to quote a player that I talked to, and we were discussing Pakistan's progress and India's progress, and this was our reaction that Pakistan can match India, lose 1-0 or win 1-0 or draw India at the moment, all right? But 20 years or 25 years down the road, Pakistan with the current setup and the current league and the current youth development, Pakistan will simply not be able to match India in terms of their quality of players. So that's going to be a major step for India if they continue like this. It's definitely going to improve a lot, and once you have a large pool of players to choose from, your national team improves. So, and talking about answering your question further, Coach Shamlan's players, selections have been very dubious. For example, you've got Ashinola who plays as a left back at the international level, and he's been regular for KRL as well. But that defender just can't put a pass straight. So it's a very valid question that why does he get to play at international level when he's clearly not performing? Is he just because he's young? And even besides that, you look at Pakistan's selection all around the pitch. You've got Ahmed, who's technically a midfielder. He's even played as a striker, and you've got him as a centre back. While you have other better options, even local ones. So it's very baffling in terms of selections or the players being involved with the Pakistan side. These are definitely if Coach Shamlan wanted to go out with the win, he could have gotten better players. But having said that, the selections are slightly dubious. But I'll give credit to Coach Shamlan for playing a very attacking brand of football, and he goes out for a win. He plays attractive football. He tells his players to play attractive football, which is a good sign. You enjoy playing passing football, and you enjoy players getting along well on the pitch. Having said that, the defense is something that I really should question, because Mohammad Ul Shamlan is a former international defender for Bahrain, and his assistant coach Tanveer Ahmed was the international defender of Pakistan. So with these two at the helm, it's very surprising to see that Pakistan struggles defensively.
I was going to come to that point as well. Like you said, Shamlan has introduced this sort of attacking football, which was visible in the SAF Cup as well to an extent, in the Philippines Peace Cup. Totally different to Zavisa, who plays straightforward 4-4-2, long ball. But you could always argue that what Zavisa was playing to the strengths of Pakistani players, not expose them. If you make a pass or two, you lose the ball, you panic again. You're out of position, you start to panic again, and you start to leave gaps. But you've got to keep in mind some of our players are not technically or tactically, experienced of that standard. And sometimes we do accuse foreign coaches coming in from certain parts of Europe and then come play long ball football, whatever. But sometimes they are just playing to the strengths of the local players. If the local players, be it in India, be it in Pakistan, Bob Houghton did have a great deal of
Yeah,
success
I
with
mean
India.
the long ball thing worked for us.
Exactly. If it works for you,
It worked for us.
playing to your strengths of your players. And so yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Shamlan has introduced sort of attacking football in terms of going forward, the movement. He's got good pace for the young players, but it's coming back to that point that defense, it has got no height, it has got no physical presence. There is lack of leadership in that team. And when you go, you play, when you've seen the senior teams at SAF Cup and AFC Challenge Cup, you've seen players taking, organizing teams and being commanding and vocal, and that's something you miss in the current team. And for me, I mean, I've been following closely the Indian team, and I think for me, I like to kind of know more around one of the key players. I think I know Sunil is going to be a key player, but I think I'll kind of come back to Laldin Karalte. What sort of impact can we expect from him, you think, in the upcoming two games, Rahul?
I think Amai will have a better.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to Amma as well. Yeah. So, Amma, what do you think?
I
I mean,
mean,
Ralte,
yeah.
what sort of impact can we expect from him?
No, I think Rahul has also seen them play. He also has a good idea about them. One player that I want to, I mean, there are a couple of players that I'm really looking forward to see is the midfield, the central midfielders. Milan Singh, Pranay Haldar. They are promising central midfield players, but haven't played much at international level. So these are the two players I really want to see how they perform. And then there is Sandesh Jingan as well, highly rated centre back. Every conversation you have with Baichung Bhutia these days, he will mention about Sandesh Jingan, being one of the promising players of India. But we haven't seen him much. When he played in the I League, he had injury problems and he played in different positions. But in this
Mm.
team, he's expected to be the senior centre back. So more than Lalindika, Ralte, and Sunil and Robin, the usual names, these are the three or four names that I want to look that how good are they? Are they ready to be playing at the senior level also? Because obviously they're good enough for the under 23 team. I think that's what Kovans is trying to do with this team. That he will put in this players to play in the under 23 team, and then from there he will select 4 or 5 players for the next international friendly, which is against the AFC Challenge Cup champions and the Asian Cup participants, Palestine in October. So I think this Asian Games will be a bit of both. I know Kovans has said that he wants to win a medal, and whenever he goes to a tournament, he wants to win it. Although that is too optimistic, but I'm sure he has an eye on the future, and these are the players like the Purnai and Milan Singh and Sandesh Jindal, even Peter Kota at right back. How are these players going to transform themselves? Are they ready to make that step from the I League level to international level? That is where I think the South Asian players struggle the most because they do it well at the domestic level. We see Ali Ashfaq also. He's always rated high at SAP level, but when he's under pressure against teams like India or when even if you saw in the AFC Challenge Cup recently, when he's under pressure, he couldn't make the transformation the level at the SAP level to the AFC Challenge Cup level, or when scoring goals against Sri Lanka and Bhutan is fine, but performing against the top teams, so that is the challenge again for these Indian players. They have done it at the I League level, but can they do
Yeah.
it at international level immediately? Because you won't get 20 games to prove yourself at the international level. You have to do it in the first 3 or 4 games. That's what Vaichung and Sunil Chetri have done. That's what Zay Rahman has done. So this is what I think I'm looking forward to watching some of these players play who have proved at I League level or have shown promise, but can they do it in the same at international level?
I think Sharak
Yes, I mean,
Ahmad has mentioned
I
a
also
key
have to
point.
ask. I
Yeah.
have to ask Amai something. I mean, uh, just for the benefit of knowing the kind of goalkeepers we have right now. Didn't we have enough under 23 goalkeepers from the I League? Because I really doubt goalkeeper could be one of our major concerns this Asian Games. Because we have a bad habit of conceding goals when we are facing the big opponents. So goalkeeping has to be that class.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the keepers who has plenty of experience, Gurpreet Sandhu, he's
Hmm.
currently in Norway having a trial and is reportedly close to a contract there. So he's one keeper that would probably has the experience of even making mistakes and bouncing back in top level games, which probably Amrinder Singh doesn't have. He played in the AFC Cup for the first time last season, but
Yeah.
technically he's rated quite highly. So you are right about the goalkeeping point of view as well. As I said, goalkeeper, the central defense, the central midfield, and the wide midfield. These are 4 areas I'm concerned about because of the lack
I
of
think
international experience. And
I think it's pretty exciting that you mention all those the young players, and I think that's what these two games are about. Giving that opportunity to young players, and I think with Pakistan we've got some really exciting players. Mansoor Khan, who won the under 16 SAF championship in Nepal, was regarded pretty highly. Obviously, sadly, we didn't have those systems in place in Pakistan to help that systematic progression for him. But then again, he went on to captain the under 19s. He's been in the senior team and under 22 team now. Another young player, Mohammad Riaz, who burst onto the scene when he was 14, 15, about 4 years ago. He was at the SAF Cup as well. Saddam Hussein, I think Saddam Hussein will have a good battle with Laldin Karalte, I think, in the middle of the park. And there's another young player in the midfield, Bilal Rahman, who scored, 2 goals against the Indian under-19s a couple of years ago in Iran in that win I mentioned earlier. And apart from that, obviously, you got the two superstars that we have in this team, Adil and Kalimullah. So I think it really is. I think even for us fans, it's about taking these games. I think, like I said, as grand scheme of things, part of preparation, part of exposure, just raising the profile of football in the region, and just just resuming that link that we had that was in 2005, and hopefully this can lead to playing more games. I know most of our teams, federations want to play higher ranking teams, but if you look around in the Gulf and the Southeast Asia, they're always playing each other despite only having 5 10
Mm,
points in ranking difference, because it's cost saving. They're always playing each other.
mm.
And I think if we can sort of, kind of come back to that and just start engaging a lot more, and I think, it would really helpful. I just want to come back to just one last point before I kind of wrap up. Uh, what sort of, weather is, the climate of Bangalore, and how do you think that would impact the match
Another
and
point
the
would be
time?
renovated because earlier it was AstroTurf, and I've been hearing reports that it's been changed to National Turf now.
Okay,
No, no,
and
not
obviously,
yet. No.
it's a monsoon season as well. So what what kind of challenges can
So,
the players expect?
well, Bangalore has the best of the weather in India. I mean, all through the year it's very cool and they have a very cloudy, overcast climate all through the year. So, yes, it is monsoon, so the humidity will never be a problem in Bangalore. It has never been like that. The stadium is also very well located and the atmosphere is very great in the stadium. I don't think that the natural turf is practically on at the moment. There are talks that after this match is over, they will start rebuilding this whole thing and getting it ready for the under 17 team. So right now, it's still the AstroTurf. Bengaluru FC is already training there, and the Indian team also had a camp over there. So the temperatures will be likely around between 20 to 30 degrees, and very overcast, cloudy, and yes, it might also rain. You never know, but definitely not hot and humid. So good condition and weather for a good competitive football match, to be honest.
And I think just to, I think JSW deserve another mention for
Yeah.
taking this responsibility on, and like you said, they've done great
Mm,
work in establishing
mm,
Bangalore as a hub of football in
mm,
India, and they're doing some great work, and it's good to see that they've come forward and supported this series. A lot of people will sort of run away from it with all that's going on, and not take on this, and credit to both federations as well that they've embraced it, and took it on, and yeah, to the coaches as well, because sometimes they probably uh,
yeah.
don't want to play each other, and usually in the past you've heard coaches say, oh well, we've got so much play ranking difference, and we'd rather play somebody else. And I think that deserves as a good mention. But yeah, just the last point, predictions. What would you go for, Rahul?
I think the first match, because Sunil loves scoring in front of the Bangalore crowd. So
Mhm.
the first match could be a draw because I'm not very confident about the Indian goalkeepers as well as the defense because it's a concern.
Yeah.
But second match onwards, I mean, once the team starts knowing each other, it will be a very open game. And as an Indian, I hope that we come up victorious out of the two matches. That's all I can
Okay,
say.
that's a draw and a win for Rahul. Amoy, back to you.
I expect two very tight games to be honest, and maybe the home advantage will see India we win one of the two games. But I won't be
Hmm.
surprised if Pakistan cause an upset. I'm slightly concerned about the attendance on the second game because that's on a Wednesday, and I heard the kickoff timings will be around 3:30 in the afternoon. So that is going to
Hmm.
be a challenge. So maybe an exciting first game will is very important to ensure a proper crowd for the second game. And as far as
Okay,
predictions are
that's
concerned, it's a very tight
Shahrukh.
game.
Shahrukh,
So
up to you. That's uh,
win
that's
one
an
and
India win, and that's an India win, and maybe a draw or an upset. So that's a one win and one anything. Well, how do you see it?
I'm going to be very brutally honest. I saw Pakistan in the Palestine tournament. I saw Pakistan in the Indonesia game. They're very, very weak defensively. Sunil Chetri is playing. Robin Singh is playing. I expect India to win both games narrowly, maybe 1-0 or 2-0. But I do expect India to win. Pakistan can score goals, one or two here or there, but that too with individual quality of Adil or Kaleem.
Okay, I think I'll reserve my
What about your
predictions.
prediction, Robert?
No, we
My
have
predictions.
to.
Okay, my predictions. I think I'll go with an upset maybe from Pakistan in the second game, not the first game. I think in the second game, and I think India will take the first game.
So it's clear that both of you were bluffing throughout on Facebook when you were talking that India will thrash Pakistan in both games. That was clearly mind games. I can understand now.
As I said,
No,
upset,
we will.
upset. It could go either way. But again, I just wanted to say thank you, all of you, and it's
Yeah,
been great pleasure having you all and discussing it. And we hope the games go well, and we can see this more of a regular thing. Thank you very
yeah.
much, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Thanks.
Yes.